You've spent months preparing for a moment that's actually already here. It's not an accusation. It's the Virgo mechanism working exactly as it was built, to analyze, refine, wait for the ideal point. And this ability is real. It's valuable. It's part of what makes Virgo genuinely extraordinary. But there's a question that nobody asks Virgo because it seems too obvious, and which is actually the most important of all. What if the ideal point you're waiting for never arrives because you're the one who decides when it does? June brings Virgo a type of movement that she cannot control in its entry, only in its response. And how she responds will determine everything that follows until the end of the year. I'm not talking about external opportunities that appear and disappear. I'm talking about something deeper. The moment when Virgo finally stops being the architect of her own procrastination. Because the big turning point for Virgo in June isn't about the world finally seeing you. It's about you stopping hiding from what you're already capable of building. What follows in this video will show you exactly how this month will work, inside and out. What will open up, what will ask you to let go of, and what you will become when you cross over to the other side. He is. There's one thing nobody talks about regarding Virgos during busy months. She already knew it was coming, not in a mystical way, not through premonition. She knew because she saw the signs, catalogued the patterns, calculated the variables. And yet, when June knocked on the door, she was still standing in the same place, with the plan still being revised, with the list still incomplete, with that feeling that one more small adjustment is needed before she can move forward. This is not a lack of competence. It's the opposite. It's an excess of it, because Virgo doesn't fail due to inability. Virgo stumbles precisely where it is strongest, in analysis, in refinement, in the conviction that if it continues polishing, it will eventually reach the perfect result that will finally deserve to be shown to the world. And June is the month in which this mechanism, this system that it has spent years building, will reach its limit. Not because it will suddenly break down, but because it will become too expensive to maintain. There is an image that Virgo carries of herself. An image of someone who thinks before acting, who doesn't rush, who knows how to wait for the right moment. And for a long time, this image served its purpose. It protected her. It functioned as an intelligent filter against unnecessary mistakes. But filters, when used for too long, stop filtering only the bad. They begin to retain everything. And that's exactly what starts to change in June, not in a dramatic way, not with a visible rupture that everyone around will notice. Virgo's shift in June begins from within. It begins with a weariness, with that specific kind of exhaustion that doesn't come from overworking, but from holding back too much, from holding on too tightly, from always being on the verge of acting without ever crossing the line. And there's something important about this fatigue that needs to be said. It doesn't give any warning. There are no clear signs. It settles in slowly, like water seeping into a wall, invisible for so long that when you notice it, the structure is already compromised. And for Virgo, who is exactly the type of person who should notice these things, the fact that they didn't notice it before is, in itself, revealing. Because when Virgo stops noticing their own weariness, it's because the weariness has become familiar. It's become the normal state. It's become what they call functioning. There's an analogy that helps to understand this. Imagine an extraordinary chef, someone who knows every ingredient, who knows exactly when to prepare each dish, who has never made a mistake in a recipe. But this chef never serves the dish. There's always something missing. The seasoning isn't quite right. The presentation could be better. The lighting isn't good. And the dish gets cold. And the diner leaves. And the chef is still in the kitchen, alone, making adjustments. Virgo knows this chef very well, because on some level she is that chef. And what June will reveal is not that the dish was bad. It's that the dish had been ready for a long time. And the refusal to serve it was never about quality. It was about something else, something that Virgo rarely names for herself, because naming it would be admitting a vulnerability that she has learned to disguise as method. Herein lies the real crux of the matter, the point that makes this month so disturbingly necessary for Virgo. When a Virgo says she's not ready, she's rarely lying. She genuinely believes it, because the pattern of something is still missing is so integrated into her internal system that she can no longer distinguish where real discernment ends and fear begins. They use the same voice. They speak with the same logic. They present the same arguments. And there lies the paradox that June will force to the surface. What if Virgo's greatest imprudence throughout all this time hadn't been acting too quickly? What if it was exactly the opposite? Imagine a surgeon who has studied every detail of the operation for years, who knows anatomy by heart, who has memorized every possible complication, who has mentally simulated the procedure hundreds of times, but who has never made the first incision, because there is always one more study to be done, one more case to be reviewed, one more safety margin to be calculated. The patient is on the table, the scalpel is in hand, and the surgeon stands there looking at the monitor, reading yet another article. At some point, preparing for risk becomes the risk itself, and it is precisely at this point that Virgo finds itself now, not in failure, not in defeat, on the verge of a turning point that it itself is delaying. And what will happen in June, what the energies of this month will demand of Virgo in a way that it will not be able to postpone, is exactly this: the first cut. And when that realization arrives, when Virgo finally sees it clearly, the first thing she feels is not relief, it's discomfort. Because if the obstacle was always internal, if the method was always also a shield, then all that waiting, all that refinement, all that care was in part a very well-disguised escape. This question will remain open while you decide what to do with it. It was while searching for answers to this question that I found this digital book, The Divine Path That Guides Your Zodiac Sign to a Life of Purpose. This is not a self-help manual. It's not a list of affirmations to repeat in the morning. It's a map, and maps are exactly what Virgo understands, not as a shortcut, but as a tool for real clarity, as a way to see the territory without having to travel it blindly. This book was built for those who, like Virgo, already have the intelligence, but need to find the angle that transforms that intelligence into movement, into direction, into concrete life, not just catalogued potential. You are now at a specific moment. You have just recognized something in yourself that has probably been hidden for a long time. This type of recognition has a window. It is real and alive now, in this instant. And the Virgo tendency, you already know this, is to process, analyze, put it in a mental folder and review it later. Later never reaches the same level of clarity as now. The link is in the first pinned comment, but be aware, this content may be taken down. Click now and download your copy. And before we continue, a question for the comments. What is the plan, project, or decision that you already know is ready, but that you are still refining? Write it here, not for me, for you to see written down. June is not a gentle month for Virgo. It's a revelatory month. And there's an important difference between these two types. Gentle months pass. Revelatory months change the before and after. What June's energetic configurations bring to Virgo is a kind of gentle but inflexible pressure, like a door that was locked from the inside, and suddenly someone on the outside finds the key. You didn't ask to open it, you didn't plan to open it now, but the door is open, and you can stand there looking at it, or you can walk through. In relationships, this will manifest itself quite directly. The dynamics that Virgo has accepted for too long will require review. Not necessarily breakups, not necessarily conflicts, but conversations she postponed, boundaries she knew needed to be stated but remained in internal drafts. affections she kept hidden, thinking the right time would come on its own. June says, "You create the right time." In terms of material and professional structures, the month will create openings that require Virgo to be open to the new, not just competent in the old. And here's a detail Virgo needs to pay close attention to. The opportunities this month won't necessarily take the form they expected. They may seem smaller than planned, simpler, more immediate, and Virgo's temptation will be to undervalue what's readily available because they're still waiting for what they imagined. Don't do that in June. What's at hand in June is more valuable than it seems, because it's not the size of the opportunity that matters now. It's the movement. It's the fact that Virgo will choose to move, and that movement, however small it may seem, will create the next, and the next will create the following, and suddenly, what seemed like a small step reveals itself as the beginning of a sequence that Virgo will look back on in August, in September, and will understand that this is where everything changed. But before it reaches the mind, this transformation will take place in the body, and this is something Virgo rarely admits, that her body knows before she does, that there's a level of exhaustion that doesn't show up in test results, doesn't have a clinical name, but is absolutely real. It's the weight of carrying an identity that has become too small, of holding onto a version of herself that served her in the past, but now squeezes in places that should be free. Imagine a backpack you've been carrying for so long, you've forgotten it's there. You've gotten used to the weight, you've adjusted your posture, you've learned to walk with it, and one day someone asks, "Don't you want to take that off your back for a minute?" And you realize, only then, that your back hurts, that it's been hurting for a long time, that you just weren't paying attention to it. June will be that moment for Virgo. Someone, some situation, some unexpected mirror will make her realize how much she's carrying that is no longer hers, responsibilities she absorbed because she is capable, internal judgments she built because she is demanding, expectations she assumed because she is responsible, and all this weight together forms a backpack that she herself packed with such care that she convinced herself she needed it to function. Taking off that backpack isn't irresponsible. It's what will free her up for what comes next. And what comes next is, in part, what she always wanted. The link is in the first pinned comment. But before continuing, a necessary pause. If you've made it this far, feeling that this burden is real, that this weight has a name you recognize, the digital book, The Divine Path that guides your zodiac sign to a life of purpose, has an entire chapter dedicated to how Virgo can translate this recognition into concrete action, into clarity about what to let go of and what to cultivate. It's not vague philosophy, it's a map with coordinates. Exactly the kind of tool Virgo knows how to use. The last copies are running out. Click now and begin your journey towards the clarity and genius you deserve. When Virgo puts her backpack down, the first thing she discovers isn't lightness, it's strangeness, because she no longer knows what it's like to walk without weight. And this temporary disorientation can be frightening. It might seem like a loss of identity, but it's not. It's a postural adjustment. It's the body relearning to move with the space that has always been available, just never occupied. And in relationships, this change will be especially visible. There are people in Virgo's life who are there because she kept them there through effort, with patience, with a willingness to always give a little more so that the relationship would continue to work. And for a time, that was generous. But at some point, generosity without reciprocity becomes a loss. And Virgo knows this. She has taken stock. She has done the math internally more than once. June will bring the courage to do what she already knows needs to be done. Not with cruelty, not with unnecessary rupture, but with that serene honesty that is the purest form of respect Virgo can offer, both to others and to herself. The relationships that remain after this review will be more real, lighter, more honest. And some will surprise Virgo because people she thought would leave will choose to stay in a different, more genuine way. And whoever leaves needed to go. The table that Virgo will rearrange in June won't get smaller. It will get better, with enough space for the right people to sit and with less weight for her to carry alone. And there's one thing Virgo needs to understand about this process in relationships. It won't seem powerful while it's happening. It will seem strange. It will seem risky. It will seem like she's giving up something that was at least stable. But stability and health are not the same thing. And Virgo, who analyzes everything with such precision, sometimes uses that precision to justify what is merely comfortable, not what is good. June will create situations that make it impossible to continue using intelligence as an excuse to remain where she shouldn't be. In the professional field, June's story for Virgo has a specific quality that deserves attention. It's the month when what she knows will finally become apparent to those who need to see it. Virgo accumulates competence in a quiet way. She learns, absorbs, integrates, and she rarely publicizes it. She rarely occupies the space that would be proportional to what she delivers. Because part of her still thinks that showing what she knows is vanity, that waiting to be discovered is more elegant than presenting herself, that those who truly see will see without her needing to say anything. June will put that to the test. Because there will be situations, meetings, conversations, opportunities that will require Virgo to say, I know how to do this, I can lead this, I have what it takes for this. Not as arrogance, as a fact, as the kind of simple and direct clarity that, when it comes from Virgo, has a specific weight, because everyone around knows that she doesn't say what she doesn't know how to do. And when she says it, something she didn't expect will happen. It will work. Not because June is magical, but because the world around Virgo has long been waiting for her to truly show up. It's been waiting for her to stop making herself invisible through misapplied modesty. It's been waiting for her to occupy the space that is proportional to her capacity. And here's a detail that only Virgo will understand. The reason she stayed in the background for so long wasn't insecurity in the classic sense. It was a specific form of self-preservation. If she never fully presents herself, she can never be completely rejected. If she never puts everything on the table, she never loses everything at once. It's a calculated risk strategy that works very well to avoid getting hurt. And it works very badly to get where she wants to go. June will make this cost visible. It will show Virgo in concrete situations how much she left on the table by choosing the second option. And this visibility will not be punitive. It will be liberating, because when you see the real cost of a choice, you can no longer make the same choice without knowing exactly what you are giving up. And Virgo, who never consciously wastes, will choose differently. Imagine a diamond that has spent years being polished in the depths of the earth. Every pressure, every heat, every layer removed has contributed to what it is. But while it remains in the dark, no one knows it exists. Someone needs to bring it to light. In June, Virgo is the diamond, and the time to emerge from the depths and appear is now. What she will discover when she stops hiding is that the brilliance she was protecting was what the world needed to see. The link is in the first pinned comment. And before closing, one last connection. Everything narrated here about Virgo in June, this transition from one who contains to one who moves, from one who refines to one who delivers, from one who waits to one who appears, is mapped out with depth and precision in the digital book, The Divine Path That Guides Your Zodiac Sign to a Life of Purpose. Each pattern you recognized in yourself today has, in this book, a path of real application, a language that Virgo understands, not vague promises but clear structure, not empty motivation, but a navigable map. The last copies are running out. Click now and begin your journey towards the clarity and genius you deserve. And then June passes. Not in the same way that other months have passed, not as just another block of time on the calendar. June will pass as a milestone, as a division between before and after that. Virgo will feel in their body, in their relationships, at work, in the way they see themselves in the mirror, not because everything will be resolved, but because she will have gone through something real. You will have made the first cut. You will have put the backpack on the ground. You will have opened the door that was locked from the inside. And you will have discovered on the other side not the chaos she imagined finding, but a space. A space that had always been there, waiting for her to be big enough to inhabit it. Because Virgo's shift in June isn't about the world finally recognizing her. It's about her finally recognizing herself. It's about understanding that all the rigor, all the analysis, all the care she invested over time wasn't wasted. It was preparation, but preparation that, at some point, needs to find momentum, and that moment is now. Virgo is not the sign that waits for miracles. It is the sign that creates the conditions for the inevitable to happen. And what will become inevitable in June is its own turning point. Not because the stars decided, but because she finally will decide too. And when Virgo truly decides, with that silent and unwavering determination that only she knows how to possess, there is no obstacle that can resist her. There is no older version that survives. There is only what comes after. And what comes next, for Virgo, after a June like this, is what she always knew she was capable of building. She just needed, for once, to stop revising the plan and start living it.